All right.
Welcome, everybody. This is episode 50 of the Suited Kings podcast
Numero
today.
50. Unreal.
Isn't that
Uh,
crazy?
Unreal, Wes. Very, very happy, very proud of us for sticking to it. I'm pretty good at just like quitting everything I do. So happy to happy to have stuck this one out, especially having to deal with you week after week. So
I know it's probably difficult, but honestly, so the people may or may not know, but we are recording this remotely. And the real reason for that is because you just won the Suited Kings meetup game on Clubs Poker last night. You won it for the second time out of three. And I
that
cannot
that I did.
stand to be next to you with that smug grin on your face all day.
Oh yeah. Even better than winning the money was just beating you, even though I didn't knock you out. Just knowing that you didn't even make the final table. What
No.
happened there?
I mean, and that's especially like there was a total of 16 entries,
Okay.
and I think I was two of them and you were two of them. So like it's actually pretty bad to not make the final table when that
I think
happens.
I donated 2 entries to you almost immediately in the ring game though.
You did. I
One with
stacked
eight
your
deuce or eight. What was it?
you just ripped all in with 4-3 offsuit, and I think also with 7-3.
Yeah, for 100 big blinds pre.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that was sick.
oh no, well,
Okay, go
the
ahead.
last one was, remember when I double barreled and then check called the river with Jack high against you? And I was right. That was the actual hand.
I called 20 something bigs on the turn and you just snapped me with jack. Was it on king, king, queen, queen?
It was king, king, queen, three, double flush draw, and the river paired the queen.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I called to
honestly, like we're so today we're doing online hand history reviews, and I will quickly explain why I so easily made that call.
I mean, you call it in a heartbeat, but yeah, maybe that would be a good one to go over. But do you like how I called the turn with the
Yeah, I didn't even
it's
your bluffing
the
range was even wider than I thought. So I'm
my
like, hey,
intention to bluff the river.
yeah. Well, here's how the hand went, and I'll explain it for everyone. So you open the button. I three bet from the small blind to like 11 bigs. You call. I have Jack nine of diamonds. Flop is
I don't even
King
remember what
King.
I have. What did I have?
We'll get to that
Okay,
when it goes to
okay.
showdown. Flop is King King Queen with either two hearts or two spades. I bet really small. You call. Turn is a three, which brings the double flush draw board. So it's King King Queen three with two flush draws. I bet like 3/4 pot here. You call, and the river is a queen. And at this point, so all the draws miss. And I figure that if you have ace high, you're just going to check it down. So I'm like, either you have a king or a queen, which there are only two of each, or there are all these missed flush draws you can have, or we can chop if you have Jack 10,
I all okay.
or all of the pocket. I think you're calling
All the
me
under, yeah, all the
all
yeah,
the under
sixes,
pairs.
sevens, eights, yeah. I
All of
also
those have to bluff now.
I also want to say I can clearly have a queen here.
You can, but like, and granted, I know you're not playing, like we're playing this micro stakes game, so you're not playing your normal ranges. So you
You
could probably have like queen four suited or something.
you know, and also like man, queen four off.
Yeah, maybe.
In these micro stakes meetup games, I like to splash around a little bit. It's a lot of fun. I mean, that's what I'm
Yeah.
there for, just to bring some entertainment. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think you can have more kings and more queens than usual, but apparently you can also have more bluffs because I check, you bet like 2/3 pot, I snap call, and you have 9-5 of clubs, and there were no clubs. There was no flush draw. You just floated me with nine high.
I was planning on winning that pot, but you somehow snapped me off with Jack
Ooh.
High. I bet, yeah. Unbelievable.
Yeah, in
Unbelievable.
the chat, you were just shell shocked, and I was so happy about that.
Yeah, sorry about that. My cat just jumped from like 30 feet high and she's got a little sprained paw right now
Oh
or
no.
whatever. And yeah, so she's limping around and she's still jumping a little high, a little low. But let's out with the distractions, in with the
Yeah.
content. We have a couple of giveaways to do, Wes.
Yes, we do.
The first one, it's a 55 sweeps coin entry to the Sunday Hustler. I believe you can use it on any Sunday you want. Our plan was to give it to the winner
The
from last
winner.
night's meetup game, but your boy scooped it. So, and I'm not going to use it. So I want to make sure that one of our listeners get it. Who can we, or how should we go about giving this away? Should I give this
Well,
to our
do we
second
just give it?
place?
I was thinking we just give it to
All
second
right,
place.
that sounds good. So I want to give a big congrats to Skull Vikes, who I got heads up with. He fought back. He actually got the chip lead for a minute, but
I
that
saw
didn't
that. I
last.
turned it back. I hopped back in there when it was like
Yeah,
two or three left, and
yeah. So, but we ended up whittling back and then scooped it. So that was a big W. I love winning those home games for some reason.
I noticed something weird, and there was because in the past we've had like top four get paid. This time it was only the top two got
It's
paid,
only
and
top two. Yeah, it was very.
second place got like five buy-ins.
I'm very curious why there's not a consistency there and if how that reflects. I'm not too sure what happened there, but yeah, typically it pays four. But yeah, second place got like 260 sweeps coins or something on a 55 buy-in, something like that.
Yeah, you got 520. Is
And I
that
got
right?
520. Yeah. But it was a great time. Three or four handed. I ended up picking up a bunch of big pots. So I had a commanding lead. I had like 35 bigs where everybody else was at like 12 to 15. Um, and then I just essentially just applied ICM pressure to all of them because it was the stone, but only two get paid, right? So I
Yeah,
was just the two middling stacks. I was just applying as much pressure as possible to, and they just had to continuously fold because obviously with the min cash being 5x, you're
yeah.
incentivized to get there, right? So I applied a lot of ICM pressure. It worked out a ton. Shout out to Boss Hog Allen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I feel bad. He ended up getting third and being the stone bubble. But actually, I don't feel bad because he slow rolled me with aces earlier in
Well,
the
didn't you
night.
do that to him last time?
I did do that. But now you see what happens when you do it back.
Yeah,
It was a good time. I want to say thank you to everybody who played yesterday, came out. We'll do another one every 2 weeks. We do one.
every two
So
weeks. Yeah.
on Tuesdays, 7:30 p.m. Make sure to check that out next time. A second giveaway, Wes. We have $50 doll hairs that I want to give away for our 50th episode.
50 USD.
50
All
US.
right.
Well,
How
we'll actually call it 50 Venmo bucks or
50
USD,
Venmo
depending on
bucks.
if you don't have Venmo. But regardless, we're going to be doing a $50 giveaway to one of our listeners. I didn't have a plan on how we were going to give that away yet.
Yeah, I
Um,
was gonna ask.
so maybe we'll do something. Should we do
Should
something
we
fun?
make everyone like send in a music video of them dancing?
I'm thinking this because you know the saying early bird gets the worm.
Yeah,
The first person who can send me a direct message when this releases tomorrow, with the exact two cards that Wes talks about in his first hand. You just send me a message, tell me the two cards Wes plays. So essentially, the first person who listens to this and
so
messages to me.
so to be clear, we're talking about something I haven't said yet, but like the first hand that we're gonna review.
Yes, exactly, exactly. So the first hand we review, just tell
Okay,
me what Wes's two hole cards were. Send me a message. First person to do that will win a Venmo $50. However, the caveat is you have to message me through Discord.
there we go.
So if you are not a part of our Discord group yet, make sure to go to my Twitter, our Twitter now, excuse me, at Suited Kings Pod. Get in our Discord. Send me a direct message. If I see that you've joined the Suited Kings Discord, and then do that, first person, $50. I mean, it's not easiest $50 you've ever made in your life, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to be up kind of early. You're gonna probably have to be the first listener,
I
but
do I do release episodes at 5 a.m.
yep,
Thursdays. So,
yeah.
but yeah, good
Hey,
luck. Good luck
early
to you
bird gets
guys.
the
Yeah.
worm.
Anyways, let's move on to some content here today. Episode 50, we have a study sessions episode. We're going to do some hand reviews, and just kind of discuss different concepts through these ones, whether we made good folds, good bluffs, bad bluffs, and then just kind of, discuss topics as we go through it. Wes has how many hands do you have, Wes?
I figured we'll just do two, maybe three. We'll just see
Okay.
how long it's going.
Oh,
This one I
time.
wanted to share. It's probably gonna be. It's a very unusual spot. Something we you won't come across much, if at all. But it is a good example of how to like, walking through the logic of it is good, just because when it's the sort of spot that you don't come across much is probably something you haven't really studied. And just I wanted to talk through my thinking. And yeah, well,
That sounds good. And for the listeners out there, we got this one on video. Um, I know we've said this in the past. I've been editing a ton of videos now. You'll see them on our Twitter. Essentially, at the moment, we're using them for short form content. So I'll be taking concepts, releasing them on our Twitter and our Discord, anywhere we're on social media. So you can check that out for now. And ultimately, our end goal is to take these videos and release them on YouTube with captioning, whole cards, face up, so you can follow along the action. And sometimes we kind of are a little oh, what did you have? You know what I'm saying? Forgetful maybe is the right word for you'll hear me asking Wes, What did you bet again?" or what was the board again?" This will make
so
it
now we
much
got it.
yeah, now this will make it much easier for you guys to follow along. So looking forward to that. Wes, let's get into the first hand.
Yeah, so I don't remember what tournament this is from, but it's on ACR. I'm guessing it's like a little bit after late reg, and I'm at a table with a few people who had done that maybe, but I'm actually not entirely sure. So because I'm gonna be in the small blind here, and it's gonna fold to me, and I have five of hearts, eight of clubs, and
Um
honestly,
this is interesting because I see the big blind has 5.71 big blinds. We have 8.82 to start here.
yeah. So he has 5.71 back. So if we jam here, it's for 6.71 total big blinds,
Is your
which
Let me ask before we get into this, is your plan to just limp fold if he jams?
yes,
Do we Okay. All right.
yeah,
Interesting. I
yeah, and
think
I'll
okay, go ahead.
well, yeah. So honestly, I will say 8-5 offsuit is probably too loose. Like 8-4 off, I'm definitely folding.
Mhm.
I think I don't know. 8-5 off is like right on the cusp. But if you look at the charts here, you can do some limping. I would limp some like big pocket pairs. I would
Right.
have some
Yeah.
traps in here too.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
8-5 off. I should know this, but this could just be a fold, but I did decide to limp.
Okay. And
Um,
my initial thought was fold, so that's why I was inquiring. But
yeah,
I mean your name is very fitting, Ultra Donkey, so
yeah. You can tell I made my ACR and my global poker at the same time because I got Ultimate Fish and Ultra Donkey. It's like different versions of the same name,
same thing. Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Um, so, anyways, big blind checks back, and so there's going to be 2.6 blinds in the pot. Um, and we get a flop of King of Diamonds, Nine of Hearts, Six of Spades.
So we got the gutter.
Gotcha. Yeah, not to the nutter though,
No.
because we would
Not,
lose to 10-8 if we hit the
um
straight.
can I make an assumption here?
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess you lead one big blind.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I do. And I think it's important here to recognize like, okay, if he has ace higher, if he had an ace or a king, he would have just shoved pre.
Yeah, so we assume he doesn't have much either any aces or kings in his range. I also want to say that if we were to lead one big blind here and he jams for his remaining 5.71, our plan is to just fold.
Yeah, like our hand is weak enough.
Yeah.
We even if he's bluffing, we're gonna be behind.
Yep. He lands on call.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
so he calls the one big blind. And this could mean honestly, like
There's
this is
so
where
many.
it's really weird. Like he could have
Yeah.
a six, he could have 10-7, 10-8. Like he could have a straight draw that's better. There's even
Can can
he might
I
just
can I make an assumption
yeah,
again? I think that if he had any pair here, he's just gonna go with it.
interesting. I go with it like
Go
I
all in for
think
his 5.71 bigs.
maybe. that's possible. I
Okay.
also think if he has like a nine, he's just gonna call and then call again. You know,
Okay.
like what
Uh,
if I have a hand like this, for example?
yeah, no, that's a great point. That's a great point. But yeah, yeah, okay. I mean, yeah, he's trying to get the full double with a 9 plus. I guess that's fine. Um, and I'm essentially say I don't think he has many kings in his range, so almost
Right.
ruining that.
Yeah, I don't think he has any kings. I think he, a nine or a six are both possible, and then obviously, pocket pairs he are not in his range right now. He would have jammed
Okay.
those
All right.
pre-flop.
So he
And
lands on
then yeah,
call.
there are a lot of straight draws too.
We're in a very
And
awkward scenario now, unless we just somehow smack a seven.
yeah, so there's 4.6 blinds in the pot, and he has 4.71. Um, the turn card is a four of clubs, which not only does this not bring anything in, but it doesn't even bring in a backdoor flush draw. So if let's say he had, 10-7 suited with a backdoor flush draw. Now it just has like no equity pretty much. I
Okay.
mean,
Okay.
it's beating our hand, but it
Yeah.
has like there's like I don't know what his if he had Jack 10 pre-flop, I don't
Okay.
know if he would have jammed that or anything. So now we're in this awkward situation where there's a chance we're just drawing to four outs. But
Okay.
and we're always behind, right? I mean, I guess he could have 7-5 specifically.
All right.
Um,
Our plan here is to just give up, though.
is that
It
I
doesn't
don't
seem where you're going with it.
that's
So,
that's not where we're going with it. So I think the natural instinct would be to give up here because it's like, well, he has less than five blinds. Like how I'm not gonna try and get it all in with eight high here. Like what are we supposed to do?
right. Yeah.
And
Yeah. Is there any
so
ICM pressure at this point?
no, I don't. I mean, not like any real.
Is rebuy still available?
I don't think rebuy is available, but I don't
Okay.
think we're like we're
Okay.
we're certainly not like right. If we had been in a serious ICM spot, I would have just ripped it pre because like he is gonna because I have so many more chips than him that I can just like
Okay.
put the
Well, for the
pressure.
people not looking at the video version of this, the full board is King of Diamonds, Nine of Hearts, Six of Spades, Four of Clubs. We have 8-5 off. So we got a gutter, not to the nutter.
Yeah.
And we're heads up against a small stack in the big blind. I think this is what I'm thinking is that man, if I do bet here, I'm just going to put them all in. I don't see a universe where I'm betting like one or two and then folding to a jam.
Okay.
All
Well,
right. So I'm this is
this
interesting. This is where
yeah.
Wes and I's game can kind of separate. So I'm curious to see where you take this because especially from that response right there, it seems like that's the route you take. And it's funny I bring it up because I know that that's a possibility.
Yeah.
But to
And
my opinion, it doesn't seem it's not something I would do. Go
it
ahead.
doesn't feel possible, but in the moment here, what a lot of things add up where it's like, not only do I have a draw, but I have a draw that's losing to his draws. And he could have had like there are plenty of gut shots available to him on the flop.
Yeah.
Um, he could, even like the same hand or something. And there's no way he turned a backdoor flush draw. So all of his gutters would have to fold now. And that's kind of where I'm at. Like obviously, so my assumption is if I bet here and he calls, he's going to have a pair.
Okay.
Uh, in which case then I can probably give up. Or if he jams, obviously I fold. So I come in with the 1.6 big blinds. And so I put in about a third
with
of
the
his
with the
stack.
plan to fold, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Um,
fold if he jams. That is
yeah. But
like an
but
any
he
fold.
lets it go.
You're
So
that's it's teach me your ways, I guess. You know what I mean? Like you somehow got a bluff through without risking his, his entire stack. You know what I'm saying? The seven
yeah,
bigs or
yeah. Like
whatever.
if he I found a way to so obviously like if I had jammed, he would have folded too. Like it wasn't
Clearly. Clearly, but
it's
you gave yourself an opportunity.
if he
If he
had
was
a hand,
trapping with, I mean, essentially with if he has a nine there, like you were saying earlier,
I can
and
save
just
three
calling,
big
he's
blinds.
trapping with second pair essentially with
Yeah.
that stack. You know what I mean? So he's waiting for you to put them all in. So by betting 1 point, what was it, six on the turn there?
Yeah, 1.6 into
You give yourself an
4.6.
opportunity to just fold if he's in that place. So
Yep.
I love it. Okay,
Yeah. That was a cool one because you just that's not a spot that you ever get into. And so I kind of wanted to go through the logic where it's like, yeah,
I
like I'm not it feels like it feels like betting so small just doesn't give you fold equity, but there are all these hands he's calling the flop with that are just gut shots that I'm still losing to
yeah.
and that he has to fold on the turn.
I want to give a disclaimer to our listeners. If you are trying to maneuver like Wes was in this hand, just be very careful because every decision matters. Where I mean, if you're betting 1.6 there on the turn, don't plan on calling off. Like you have to have a plan for each action all the way through there. It's just um, it's
Yeah.
very dangerous to do things like that and not know what you're going to do later on. So
Yeah.
well played by Wes.
Um that I liked that. That sounded a bit like a don't try this at home
That's pretty
disclaimer.
much exactly what it was. Yeah.
I like it. Um cool. Well, I have a bunch more hands here. And so we got oh man, that's a wild one. That one, let's see. We can go with this one is a crazy one.
Okay. A little more deep stack here. I like it.
Deep stack, yeah. And this is so I remember this is in the long car on ACR, so it's 55, usually with about 5 grand up top.
Okay. You won this
And
like almost 2 weeks in a row or something, didn't you?
I got second and then first back to back weeks. Yeah.
Congrats, by the way. Also, I
Thank
want to
you.
give a congrats to you on your two deep runs this weekend on ACR.
Oh man, thanks. Yeah.
Yes, Wes was one of 18 with 130K up top and a 218 or
One
something.
150. Yeah. It was
$150,000 up top, and he's one of 18.
and then I got 11th for like 6,500. I mean, so yeah, it was a 215 multi-day. The OSS, one of the OSS main events on ACR, and I busted twice on day one. Then I late regged, played one hand and doubled up, and then it was day two. And then day two, I kind of hung around, got into the money, and then I just went on a run where I was coolering people. I would get it all in. I got aces 2 or 3 times, and each time got it all in and won. And
Love that. I mean, when you
um,
had 5,000 something entries, right?
yeah, and at
You
over
have to run pretty good to get that deep into that big of a field.
yeah. And so I was chip leading with 23 left, with 18 left. I was like third with 15 left. Ran tens into aces, small blind versus button, still had like 20 something blinds, dwindled down, doubled up, and then dwindled down again and got it in ace jack versus ace nine. And the guy just spiked a nine. And I got that was a painful one in the sense that you know,
When you're one of
that's
18 and that much money up top, I mean, it's just going to be painful.
yeah, it's especially online, like you just don't get those opportunities to win big like that.
Okay.
Um,
I mean, I
live, I mean,
agree.
even live, it's even though I'm in more tournaments like that, it's still not as common that I'll get that deep,
Well, when we
right?
play
So,
live, we play, $1,100 buy-ins, so it's
mhm,
easier to get to those six-figure prize pools or first place prize pools. Whereas $218 buy-ins, it's not as easy. So
definitely. So yeah, and I also got sixth place in a $55 100K for 4,200. So I got 84 buy-ins back there or
yeah,
whatever. So
yeah, and you were literally in both of those at the same time. So what a fun sweat on your
yeah,
Monday. On your Monday.
yeah, it was on a Monday too. That was the crazy
All
part.
right.
So
All right, enough
anyways, yeah,
enough with your shenanigans. Let's get back into the next hand.
yeah, let's get into it. So in this hand, we're already in the money, but I think we're probably 3 tables left or something. Um, we get dealt ace king of diamonds in the cutoff. And so we have 50 bigs, raise the 2.1 bigs. The button calls off of about 83 big, so he has us covered. Small blind calls off of like 46 to start, and big blind folds. So pot is 8.05 bigs. Flop is king of spades, nine of clubs, four diamonds. So top pair, top kicker, backdoor diamond draw.
An above average flop, I'd say, for the ace king of diamonds.
Very good flop. Couple things to keep in mind, like the small blind is the only way we're losing really to either player is like maybe king nine of hearts, because that's the only combo of king nine suited.
Okay. Yeah, they
And
shouldn't have
then,
king nine offs. So king
yep.
nine. Yep.
And then maybe, so, and then also pocket fours, and then maybe pocket nines that didn't three bet. So small blind's going to check. And, you know, I think I bet 1.93 big blinds, which is just under quarter pot. I mean, I think, yeah, somewhere I could go slightly larger here, but
Well, let's ask, why are we going, yeah, why are we going under quarter pot with three people? Just because, would you size up here if there was a flush draw? I mean, it's easy to see that there's only a couple combinations of gutters like queen jack, queen 10, 10 jack, things like that.
yeah,
So we're just trying to get called by those, I suppose. If there was two spades or two clubs or two diamonds or something on the board, would we size up here a little bit to also?
I'd probably go a little bit bigger. Yeah. One thing that I think is I think people sometimes think about this in the opposite way, but when you bet or when you're multi-ways, you can bet smaller.
Okay.
Um, Now, I'm not saying you should always do that because, especially in live tournaments and even some online, people won't really adjust for multi-way. But what's supposed to happen is like people are supposed to fold a lot more when
Right.
facing a multi-way bet.
And people are more knowledgeable online than live. The players you find are more studied typically.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Mr. West is a little sick. That's actually why we're not doing our in
That is
person
why we're
today.
doing it remotely. So, yeah, like for example, if we are heads up here, the button should call with like pocket seven, under pairs to the nine with like ace four hearts. It should call with a lot more stuff, but like multi-way, he should just fold some of that
Okay.
weaker stuff.
Okay.
So anyway, so that's why generally you would bet smaller multi-way. Um, they both end up calling. So
Interesting. Well, I think it's fair to assume that our opponents either have, well, they have one pair or less. I mean, it's possible that maybe pocket fours is in there somewhere. I would assume pocket
I
nines would probably three bet pre.
yeah, I think right now the small blind, like I think the button could still have us beat. Like obviously we're going to normally be ahead here,
Hmm.
but the button could definitely be trapping the hands if he is ahead. Whereas the small blind, I think out of position with a bet and a call would have check raised
Okay.
with one of those hands.
Okay. Plus, you guys are pretty deep. I mean, you have 45 behind, button has 79 behind, and small blind has 42 behind. So there's incentive to try and build a pot.
Yeah.
What a
So
turn.
turn is the seven of diamonds. So we have top with the nut flush draw.
It doesn't change too much. I mean, I guess like 9-7 suited gets there, which I suppose either one of them could possibly have. I guess king seven suited, I'm not too worried about. Maybe button.
Yeah, king seven suited is possible. I mean, there are two combos. Yeah, nine seven suited maybe.
But this
Um,
also, this seven of diamonds brings in a flush draw for you. So now you got top pair, top kicker, and the nut flush draw three ways. So I mean, we're drooling. I like it.
yep.
There's 13,
So
13.84 in the pot. How much do you bet?
I guess 6.84. We're
Oh, I
basically
see it now.
half pot.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, obviously just trying to get called by any king. 9x of diamonds would be great.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
there's like queen jack of diamonds, queen 10 type of diamonds. I suppose any jack 10,
There's
which would
still,
probably have to be
yeah.
suited, but jack 10 suited is a double gutter now.
You'd be surprised, man. I wouldn't even be surprised if small blind or button came along with Jack 10 here, but go ahead.
Um, so we get, yeah, bet like half pot here in the two players, and they both call.
What the
which
heck?
is, yeah, it's kind of weird. Like I'm almost positive I'm ahead of the small blinds. And
I still feel like you're ahead of both of them.
right. And I feel like that too. The button has a little incentive to, the button could go both like if the button had king nine suited or pocket fours, it could go both ways where he's like, because he still wants the small blind to put chips
Yeah.
in.
Yeah. There's just
Um,
not too there's so many more combos of other hands,
and
especially with
this,
us having a king that it's unlikely he's got king nine here.
yeah, I mean, there's only one combo of king nine suited, right?
Right,
So it's
right.
not like,
Yeah.
and I think there's
The
two
king
of
nine
king
of
seven
hearts. Yeah.
suited. Yeah. And then there's king seven of hearts and clubs. So there's two there. And then there's three of pocket fours. And that's probably about it. So we're
Yeah, but then we have all the gutters that have also flush draws and all the nine X's that may or may not have a flush draw. I'd assume that a nine should fold at some point here. I mean, it's also a
a not, yeah, unless it has diamonds, like a nine should be
yes, but I
gone.
also so I'm assuming our opponents have some equity here, or you just have them crushed with like king queen, king jack, and potentially a
Mhm.
king 10 suited.
Yeah. Um, it does, it's definitely a good spot, but it feels
You might tread carefully on some different turns. I mean, different rivers.
rivers.
Excuse
Yeah.
me. Okay.
So the river is
Oh, okay.
clean, deuce of
The
clubs.
the banana, the deuce of clubs. So there's 34.38 bigs in the middle.
Yeah.
Small blind has a pot behind. He has 35 bigs. We have 39 bigs, and then the button has 73 bigs. So he's got a pile. I personally am going for value on this river.
What kind of
It's
sizing are you thinking?
so 34 into 38. Let's see. I'm targeting essentially like ace nine. Oh, there's no ace nine of diamonds in there. And we're not going to get a nine to just call
Just
him
target like king, queen, king,
Yeah,
jack.
yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much it. Yep. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I kind of like that. I think going like one third pot here is,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I would probably go 13 big, something like that.
yeah, 13 and 34. That sounds reasonable.
What let's see what happens here.
So I decided to check,
Okay.
and one of my thoughts, and keep in mind, I'm not even saying this is correct looking back, but I think in the moment,
I like this thought though. Is it because you're allowing like the other diamonds that didn't get there plus maybe
the Jack 10 suited,
yeah,
or
to turn those into bluffs to get max value out of those hands?
yeah, and like to um yeah, I mean, honestly, that was part of it. And if he has king queen, I think he'll still bet probably.
Okay.
Um,
Well,
maybe not, maybe not.
what's the button do?
The button just puts us all in.
Oh, and then small blind snaps off. Oh
Okay,
gosh.
okay, so this, I didn't mean to fast forward that far ahead, but the button goes all in, and I remember the small blind, he didn't snap, but he took a while and then called.
Okay. I mean, I
And
really think that D Wright has like king queen here.
yeah, yeah, it's such a weird, because when the button jammed, I was like thinking, and I didn't. So here's what I was thinking, and tell me what you agree with or disagree with.
Okay.
I'm thinking like when he goes all in into two players, even though it seems unlikely that he has value, I don't know if we do beat any value at this point. I don't think he's just going to go all in with king queen for what is pot
Right. So
or
essentially we
slightly.
have to he might have like queen 10 of diamonds or something like that. Jack
Yeah,
10 of
like we're
diamonds.
so at this point, I think we're sort of bluff catching against him.
Yep.
And so
And then
there's
yeah.
there's four combos of Jack 10 suited, and then there's Queen 10 of diamonds, Queen Jack of diamonds. So there's six bluff combos. And then if we, you know, granted, I think he would have sometimes raised his pocket fours or King 7, King 9 suited type stuff, but not always. So like at this point it is kind of gross, but like I think we would have to call him. And then small blind calls.
So,
Now,
right. So now we can, if this is a huge part of the hand where we can actually start ranging though, because like we can take the bluffs out of right side because he obviously,
he
right has
obviously
showdown
has a
value.
hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
He has something that he, so, and that's why I was, I'm putting him on like king, queen, maybe king, jack. He's still got to
Yeah.
be careful with you in there, but if he took a while, I wouldn't remove those from, especially, in some of these tournaments. So we're essentially hoping that peasant poker has some sort of like queen 10, jack 10 of diamonds type hand, and D right has king or queen. I don't know what better hand D right would have at this point.
Yeah, because like D and for those who aren't looking, like D right is the small blind and peasant poker is the button. So the small blind here, he because he's out of position, it feels so likely that he would have check raised if he had a super strong hand like king nine suited or a set.
Yeah.
And so that's why Max is saying that we're pretty much ruling those out, but also like, does that just leave him at king queen exactly?
This is a very uncomfortable spot, but okay, this is my thought. Very
Yeah.
uncomfortable. I do not love it. I actually hate it. But now, I mean, we're getting I mean, this pot is
It's like
huge.
3-1. Yeah.
You're getting an insane number to be probably a pretty overwhelming chip leader of this tournament.
Yeah. And I think peasant poker was already the chip leader. So yeah, like we
Yeah.
would be.
Oh yeah. So he would be way down. I mean, you would be probably like three times chip leading, 3x their stack rather.
Mhm.
Um, man, you got me
And
here.
yeah, so this was one where in the moment
Oh, this is good. I'm excited to see what the result of this is. You folded, didn't you?
I folded because, and I think I made a mistake. Um, and you know what?
It's
We'll
okay to make
without
mistakes.
completely
Yeah.
spoiling it, I'll say maybe I'm being a little results oriented, but because we were bluff catching against the button, I was already kind of on the fence. And then when the small blind called, I was like, wow, okay, now I can't call. But I think if I had thought about it longer, and I think you thought about it the right way, is his range of calling is so concentrated to like king queen
It
and
really is. Yeah.
maybe king jack, which if that's true, obviously with ace king I beat those hands. It's sort of like he's just adding dead money to the pot in a way,
Yeah.
which gives me a better price.
Yep.
So I folded, but I think it makes sense to actually call. And I
Oh.
actually, yeah,
Oh, I
let's
need
take
to
a
see
look.
these hands. I need to see him. Jack ten of spades and queen king. Oh my god, we did just dialed in.
Oh,
So small blind has king queen for top pair second kicker, and then the button had jack 10 of spades. So he had the double gutter on the turn. So he flopped a gutter with the backdoor flush draw, turned a double gutter, and then just full sends the river when whiffing it. Oh,
yeah.
Wes, did you puke a little inside?
Oh, I did. I would have been, like you said,
That's
first
a weird
place
way to
by a
put that.
mile.
Did you puke in your mouth a little or die a little inside? There we go.
Yeah, both.
Yeah.
Um, and kind of, yeah.
What a
Now,
hand. Wow.
that is a pretty gross one, and it was one
Wow.
where, yeah, I think after seeing the hands, it just made so much sense. It's like,
Yeah.
and honestly, you thought about it the right way, I think.
Don't be
I could
surprised. I'm just kidding.
I could have called there, and also I could have just bet small on the river again, and I would have gotten called by the king queen. I still have almost 40 bigs, and it's like when you're in that sort of situation, you just have to regroup and focus again.
You would have had 145 bigs.
I would have, I literally would have. And so
uh, I
honestly, I kind of got punished. Like I ended up getting ninth place in the tournament. And if I had all these chips, I think I easily could have won or gotten top two or three, So
this is a absolutely incredible hand. to discuss. I mean, whether you didn't show off by making a great call and then showing it on, talking to us about it on the podcast here, but like there's so many different decisions with this being a multi-way pot where we really
Mhm.
have to be careful. And we have a one pair hand playing for 150 big blinds. Like,
Yeah, in a tournament, like
yeah,
late in a
in a
tournament.
tournament, yeah, where there's no rebuy. It's a cash game, it's different, right? But yeah, just an incredible hand. This one will be fun for viewers and listeners to see.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You got a couple to show us
I
too?
do have a couple of hands. So let's go ahead and take a quick break. All right, guys, we are back. I have a couple of hands I'm going to share now. Wes, looking forward to your input on these. We don't want to give away
I'm
any.
sure they're going to be amazing.
Yeah, of course. I have one where I made a kind of a tight fold, ICM wise at a final table. We'll go ahead and start with that one,
Yeah.
and then we'll discuss a bluff I made onto the next one before we wrap it up. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Sounds
let's
good.
let's go ahead to the first one here. So this is on Global Poker. It's the Mini Frost $33 buy-in, $3,500 guarantee. I don't remember, maybe like $900 up top, something like that. Does that seem right, Wes? I can't see the
Yeah, it sounds
prices on
right.
here.
It's
Okay.
one of the the daily, not daily, but like the 33.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
probably like 90 or 100, something like 100 players or something.
Yeah, something like that. So as you
Oh, okay.
can
So he gets dealt 9-3 off.
I
That's a
get
good stick
okay,
in the
again,
big blind.
yeah, there's 5 of us here. You can't there we go. I'll move this. I'm gonna minimize us here a little bit. There we go. All right, so um, starting off the hand, I get dealt the 9 of clubs, 3 of diamonds in the big blind. Now I have 12 and a half bigs. Oh, 13 and a half bigs to start, but my one big for the big. Under the gun is the shortest stack with 11.73. So essentially, I'm 4 of 5, and he's 5 of 5. And ICM is applicable here, right?
Yeah, final
So
table, 5 left. Absolutely.
I've not showed this hand to you. Let me go ahead and shut my window because that Wednesday alarm's going off. The
Oh,
first of
I
the
can
month.
hear that.
Hold on. All right, and we are back again. So, it folds all the way to the small blind, who is currently second in chips, but essentially he's chip leader because the bigger stack is already out of the hand, right? So, if anything, ICM pressure's only on me at this point. He ends up limping. So he's got 32 bigs to start. Again, I have 13 and a half bigs. I have 9, 3 of diamonds. I feel like this is
Nine of clubs, 3 diamonds, right?
9 of clubs, 3 diamonds. I feel like this is probably like we're not going to show up here with much worse. So I think I'm just going to go all in.
Well, okay. So I was gonna say though, I don't know how
That's a joke, by the way,
ICM.
guys.
Yes, yeah. But I did want to say, like, I don't know how ICM affects this, but like this is normally a spot where I would raise to like
Even
2.6
with
or
a
7.
shorter stack in ICM.
Well, that's where I'm saying I don't know. I may not with ICM, but like
Because it's the
this
absolute
is
bottom of our range, you're saying?
the sort of hand that I
This is
would
how we
bluff
balance.
out of the big blind with,
Okay.
yeah. And I
Okay.
would not go all in. But I
And
am
I mean,
also
truthfully, it might. I mean, it would look really strong, being that there's a shorter stack, right? So
yeah, well, and I don't know if you remember who the opponent was here, but I am
yeah,
curious
I do not.
what his limp means in the sense that like he should be able to just put you all in with a super wide range and like you said, the ICM pressure's on you. So like
That's a
he
great
should
point.
be jamming a lot more frequently than usual
So
here.
maybe he's trapping. It's possible.
Maybe he's trapping or he's
Yeah.
like really weak.
So I did not go with the raise. I checked back. So it's small blind versus big blind, a little big blind versus blind battle. I have the 9 of clubs, 3 diamonds.
Okay.
The flop comes 9 of hearts, 2 of clubs, 7 of spades. There's 2.5 bigs in the middle. Small blind checks. What are we doing here with the 9-3-0? What do you
I
think we
think
should be doing?
there's argument for either way. Obviously, like the 9 is kind of vulnerable in the sense that there are a lot of overcards, but I will say when he limps pre, like I don't anticipate him having 2 overcards that often. So it might be less vulnerable than it seems like.
Okay.
Um, top pair obviously strong. Like I certainly don't mind value betting here. I'm probably not looking to get it all in though.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. And for ICM purposes, because I feel like, I mean, I have 12 and a half bigs, right? And I have top
Hmm.
pair. So I feel like in what a lot of, players, a lot of listeners here would think is like, this is good enough to go with it.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I don't even know that that would be incorrect. It depends on like if you bet and he raises, do you think he's going to be doing that as a bluff with
Um,
enough frequency?
um, Potentially, but even if he is, I still feel like if I bet and he raises, my plan is to fold. I don't think I was
Okay.
planning on getting it all in if he raised.
Well, I think if you're planning to bet fold top pair here, you should just check and like play it as a pot control, like pick off a bluff on a later street or get.
I like that. I like that idea. I did not take that route, but I like that idea. So I ended up just betting one big into 2.5.
Mhm.
I mean, does this seem like a fine spot to just bet one big? Should I go up
I
to
think it
half?
is, but I think no, I would bet one big here.
Okay. Okay.
Um, I
S-
guess what I'm saying is like if you're planning to fold to a raise, I would not I wouldn't put yourself in a spot where you're folding top pair.
I'm still like, I wonder if I'm being honest when I said that. Would I go with this here? I guess the reason I said I'd fold is because there's someone slightly shorter than me. But now with that one big blind, I'll be the shortest stack at the table. So it's still, I
Yeah.
mean, we're equal stacks, so I don't know if that really matters much. But I bet one big blind into 2.5 and small blind calls.
Mhm.
So we
Oh,
got
that's
the,
yeah,
yeah,
bad
it's
turn
it's
card.
a it's a terrible turn. So it's nine of hearts, two of clubs, seven of spades, 10 of spades. I have second pair now with no kicker.
Mhm.
There's 4.5 bigs in the middle, and small blind leads almost full pot. He leads four bigs into 4.5, and we have second pair here. What are we doing?
Uh Folding. I
Yeah.
mean,
It's
it's
so this is like the primary part of the hand. This is where the decision is. So I'm curious if there's ever a place in time where we let this ride. But I mean, yeah, I just feel like that turn. I probably wouldn't plan on folding to say if it was like the six of hearts or something. You know what I'm saying? Like a card under.
mhm.
Yeah, I don't really know. So he bets full pot, and I just landed on fold. So I guess I wanted to get your opinion on how you thought this was played. Obviously on the
Yeah,
flop.
yeah, I think it was good on your end. I don't really understand like obviously if he bluffed you, like good for him. I don't really understand
What a
his
weird
line.
lead though on the turn, right?
Yeah,
Like if he
to
did
be
make,
fair, it could be something like
you
he
know what
could
I
have turned
think?
spades or like Jack, maybe he has
Yeah,
Jack four of spades or
it
something.
could be a
I don't
lot of
know.
different things. What I think the vibe I'm getting is that he was trapping pre with like jacks plus.
And
Uh,
then the board got wet, so
and
he
then the
didn't want
board
to.
got wet. So he's like, all right, well, we're taking initiative now. That was what I'm thinking happened.
I think
So,
that's I don't know if that's right or
right. We
not,
don't,
but
we
it
will
makes a
never
lot
know,
of sense.
unfortunately, what the opponent had here. But yeah, heads up. I just fold second pair. Boom. So, some to take into consideration ICM, stack sizes, and opponent's range. So, interesting hand. Nothing too cool about that hand, but I wanted to share and see if you thought that would be correct or not. So, thank you for the feedback on that.
Definitely.
Um, Going on to my second and last hand. Now, this is the $218 buy-in Sunday Blitz. It's a 30K guarantee. There's like 7,500-ish up top. This is early in the tournament. There's no ICM pressure at this point. Um, let's get into the hand. So it folds to what is that? Mid position on 100 bigs. He raises 2.5 bigs. Folds to me in the big blind with 4 or 5 of
Yeah.
spades. We're both
Well,
100 bigs deep.
button calls too.
Oh, I have my can. It's right. Button calls. So let's move that. There we go. So button calls, 4 or 5 of spades. Are we just always flatting here, 100 bigs? Is there ever a reason to turn this into a bluff?
I could see it. I mean, I would default to just calling,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
I don't hate three betting. It's the sort of hand that plays very well plays pretty well
Yeah.
post flop, and it gives you more board coverage.
Yeah, and it's just like there's no ICM pressure. There's not really. I just feel like there's not really a ton of need for me to be too aggressive, especially with five high. So, I land on
Yeah,
call. The flop comes king of diamonds, eight of spades, 10 of spades. I have 4 or 5 of spades, so I got a five high flush draw. There's just under 9 bigs in the middle, 8.9 bigs. I never will be leading here personally. Do you ever see a
Hmm.
reason to lead?
No.
No. Okay, cool. So we check uh mid position who opened C bets, but he doesn't C bet small. He bets 6 bigs into 8.9 bigs.
Hmm.
So is that 75-ish%, something like that?
Like 2/3, because six out of nine would be 2/3.
66%.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Um, button folds, 4 5 of spades. Again, I don't think there's any reason to bloat here, both being 100 bigs deep. My thought is to just always flat here and then reassess turn. What are your thoughts?
yeah, I think I'm just flatting. I think when he bets this large
It's a big size
multi-way, it to me it sort of screams like
on a
either,
connected board like this, like defend my equity.
yeah, like getting a lot of value slash defending equity with a strong value hand, or like a combo draw of
Yeah,
some,
he
or
could
like
have
a big draw.
he could have like,
So
yeah, like Jack Queen, maybe like Jack Queen or maybe Jack
yeah, he could have
Jack
us crushed
spades.
with spades. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
some sort of spade
I'm
draw.
I'm calling and being kind of cautious here.
Okay,
Um,
we do not love it at this point, even with the 5 high. We got a flush draw, but he bets so big. Thankfully, we're deep enough to where there is some value to be had if we hit our flush, obviously.
mhm.
So let's go ahead and call. Now, an interesting turn, right?
Yeah.
It's the 4 of hearts. So we turn fourth pair and we have a flush draw. Again, never a reason to lead on this. We're just going to play check 100%.
Yep.
Uh, Middle position now bets 15 bigs into 21 bigs. Do you ever just
Yes,
fold? Do you ever just fold here?
I don't think I'd just fold here. It's like if he has ace, king, aces, king, queen, we have like a 14 out draw.
We have a
There's
ton,
going to be
yeah,
a rare occasion.
with some implied value too,
Yeah, especially if we like hit a four. I don't
or
know
like
if
a
we
5 of
have,
diamonds or something. Yeah,
yeah, I don't know if we have, like, if we hit a spade and he has aces or something, I don't think we're going to get more value there usually.
yeah.
But there is some implied odds. To be fair,
Actually,
there's also a little bit of reverse implied odds if he has like king X of spades or something.
right, yeah. And
Um,
I just said 5 of diamonds, but even then, I wouldn't plan on trying to play a big pot. So,
no, but you could get a check call out of it. His strong one pairs then, like, because that the five is a pretty blank card.
all right. So again, just to the people who are not watching the video, it's king of diamonds, 8 of spades, 10 of spades for the flop, the 4 of hearts on the turn. We have 4 5 of spades. So we have fourth pair. We got a 5 high flush draw, and we're facing an open and 2 streets bet, 2 C bets by mid position, both 66+%. So 2 big bets. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
And in this position, like, even if you don't get value on the river, if all your outs are live, you're getting about the right price. You're getting roughly the right price, like,
to call.
to just call
Yeah.
and connect, you know.
Okay. So, knowing me, I definitely don't fold. you know,
And I think actually another thing, we haven't, do you want to turn this into a bluff now? Like, obviously you have a hand that's usually behind and a hand that is usually going to have a ton of equity. Like, do we think we can get a fold from one pair here?
my thought is no. I think
Yeah.
I think that this guy has shown that he's ready to get every chip in the middle at this point by opening
Mhm.
2.5x and then going 66% on both flop and turn.
Yeah.
It just doesn't
I
seem like, yeah, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So, anyways, he bets 15 into 21 and we land on call. The river is a beautiful, very, very beautiful 7 of clubs.
Yeah. So obviously you miss
I whiffed. I
your
have
bottom
fourth pair.
pair.
I have fourth pair.
Fifth pair.
Excuse me, fifth pair now. Thank you. Yeah. So I've been downgraded to fifth pair. I have 76 bigs behind. Opponent has 77 bigs behind. There's 51 in the middle, right? So we both
Yep.
have a little over pot. Um, Again, I don't think there's any reason for me to bluff, to lead bluff here. I think that's just a weird line to take. And I also beat some hands. Now I beat like ace queen of spades, ace jack of spades. and
Yeah,
just maybe
even
just ace
not
queen.
even
Yeah,
spade. Like he
yeah,
could do it with one spade. Something about the way this guy's been betting tells me he's not going to show up with those that much. But I think, um, but I think, yeah, there is a
they
rare
are in his
occasion that
range,
you're
I
just
think.
ahead.
Yeah.
Or maybe he just had the nut flush draw. You know,
So
there.
Wes, sorry, go ahead, finish your thought.
Yeah, if it goes check check, you win more than 0% of the time, but you're still, you're giving up
Yeah,
for the time being.
yeah, and yeah, I don't plan on calling a river bet.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't plan on calling a river bet. So I check. There's 51 in the middle. Opponent bets 30 into 51 and has 47 behind.
Now
Let,
this is interesting.
let's take a
Um,
second and think about this. I
yeah.
feel my initial thought throughout this entire hand now is that my opponent has one pair at best most of the time. Could have pocket kings, but I mean
Yeah,
maybe pocket tens, but I feel like he often just has like ace king, maybe king queen suited, and then some bluffs as well.
I think all of the ace king, aces, and king queen. So that's a total of 12, 24, 30 combos of one pair value. If you think his value is like aces, ace king, and king queen, that's
I
30
will I
combos.
will also say that this opponent didn't take much time bank on any of his decisions. Not that
And
that matters too much, but I feel like, especially on the seven of clubs river, he should take a second to think about it because the seven of clubs completes a few hands. It completes, well, actually, it completes like the jack nines, which gives the nut straights, which I have all of the jack nines from the big blind.
mhm,
Um,
yeah.
I also from the big blind can have, the sets. I can have pocket eights and pocket tens here.
I
Um,
so I would actually push back on that
okay.
because on this wet of a board, I think you would have
You
been
could have
likely to
raised.
check raise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Out of
but
position.
I
I
think
agree
you
with
have
that. I
all
agree.
all 16 combos of Jack nine. I mean, maybe Jack nine of spades you just decide to get in, but
Yeah.
yeah,
'Cause
I
that would
think
be an
Jack,
open-ended straight flush draw on the flop. So I wouldn't be afraid to get that in.
yeah. You could have 6 9 of spades, gutter and flush draw.
Yeah.
Like a
6-9 of spades would be a good one that gets there on the seven of clubs
yeah,
river. Nice.
6 5 of spades.
I mean, I have 4 or 5 of spades, so it's definitely possible, right? So there's a bunch of different straights that get there on this river. And he's saying that he has, one pair hand. I'm just not. I I the conviction kicks in. I'm like, this guy is gonna fold ace king here, and that was essentially
Mhm.
my like. I know he can have more than that, but that's just the. I felt that he had ace king, um, so I got spicy, and I said I can have all the jack nines here and all the straights. So we full send it.
Yep.
I go
Yeah.
all in for 76 bigs. He tanks for about 15 to 20 seconds and folds.
Yeah, I think it's great.
Uh,
I really like the play here. I also
but
think when he bets like a little over half pot on the river, like he could have Jack nine suited, but when he bets that median value size, I don't think he ever has the nuts here. And
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
really, even though I think he can certainly have sets or king 10 suited the way he played it. I do not think that he like with this sizing on the river, I think it's a milky sizing rather than a max value
yeah,
sizing.
yeah. It didn't seem like he had, like I feel like if he had, I don't even know, pocket kings, pocket tens, something like that.
Mhm.
Wouldn't he? Would he go bigger with those kind of hands?
Maybe like I think he
Maybe not. I don't know.
probably would.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing too. Let's say he wouldn't. And let's say that he could have a set when he plays this way.
Yep.
That's assuming it's one of the flop sets, that's still only 9 combos. And there are 30 combos of the one pair value hands that we thought that he could have. And so even if he can have the sets, your jam is still really good if he's going to fold. Like sometimes he'll run into a set, but most of the time he'll have one pair. And if he's going to fold the one pair, it's still a really profitable bluff for
Yeah.
you.
And I honestly like in that, well, like I said earlier, the conviction play. I really felt my opponent was triple barreling with one pair here or worse. Um, So for that reason, I decided to take this bluff on the river, not just because I think he had one pair, but because I also have all the combinations of hands that are now nutted, like the jack nines and straights and stuff like that. So it's not just because I thought he had one pair and I get that to fold. It's also because
Yeah,
the river improves my range to
if
nutted hands.
I think if the river's like a deuce of clubs, you just check fold because there's not really anything that comes in that, you know,
That
like
makes
the
sense for me
seven,
to turn into a bluff, right?
the seven gives you some logical value hands that you would play this way.
Exactly. So, you nailed it. So, like a lot of these rivers, like you said, a deuce, a three, a six, anything like that. I don't plan on bluffing.
Mhm.
Thankfully, we got the seven that essentially improves our perceived range. So I ended up just stuffing it in his face. He folded, and on top of all that, the cherry on the top is I windmill it in his face.
You show it.
I windmill it. I got fourth pair, got a big bluff through, have 150, 200 bigs in my stack now, something like that. Um, and that guy he was a good sport. In chat, he goes, "You're a sicko," and then gives me the nice hand. So I thought that
Nice.
was
You can
yeah,
always respect a good attitude towards that.
yeah. Had to show him the bluff. That was a good windmill to throw out there. But overall, you think this play was Wes approved?
Yeah, I like this one a lot.
Okay.
I remember when you first showed it to me, I was like fist pumped and like, yes, let's go. Like,
These are plays that again, these are plays that you need to, how do I word this? You want to logically think through, what does the opponent think I have? What do I think the opponent has? And does it make sense at the end? Um, and this
yeah,
all added up, right? I thought my opponent had one pair at best, at most of the time at one pair at best. And I thought that on this seven river, my opponent will be putting me on a lot of, um, yeah, just a lot of straights. So we went for it.
yeah. And you won the
Anyways,
tournament.
oh yeah. So that propelled me to a deep run to which I capitalized and actually ended up just winning the whole thing for like 7,500 or something like that. It was a sweet win. Um,
Yeah.
coincidentally, uh, bringing this hand up, I got an email this morning from Global saying they're going to send me like a giant check like you have,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I got
they said they'd pay me like $500 to take a picture with it. So I might. We'll see.
I never even did that. That's probably why they haven't sent me anymore. I probably should have done that.
Anyways, four fun hands to review today. I hope that the listeners enjoyed these four. It's a little bit of a different format. We had to kind of take a quick audible with Wes being sick. So we just did some hand reviews, kind of just showing how we review hands and discuss and think about it all the way through. So hope you guys enjoyed that content. Wes, anything else you want to say before we end this?
No, I mean, 50 episodes is pretty cool.
Yeah, that is
Um,
awesome, man. Thanks for being a part of it with me. Thank you for giving the idea of starting this thing too. It's been a ride.
I'm just a genius in the way I think sometimes, but no,
I agree with
yeah,
that.
and I
I
think
agree.
it's been great. I mean, I feel like we both bring a lot to it, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
And I mean, had some cool relationships develop from meeting people over the
mhm.
time, and 50 episodes strong. Can't wait for 100, and then maybe 1,000 even one day. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows
Well,
what'll
I
happen?
think we're 100% gonna get to 100, and then 1,000 is
That's lofty. Well, by then we'll just be like, I don't even know. AI will just generate images of us and do it automatically. So,
there we go. What do we have coming up here the next few weeks?
so this
Let's
weekend,
talk about that. Yeah.
this weekend we have the Hollow Scream at Running Aces. I will not be playing that one. I'm going to be in Atlanta with the family, the wife and her family, and so I'll be skipping that. What are you playing this weekend?
Yeah, I'll play that. I'm not gonna fire every flight. I have a buddy coming in town, but I'll definitely play one or two flights of that if
Okay, okay.
necessary. And then the next weekend we
Oh
got
baby, oh baby.
Firekeepers
Oh,
MSPT.
I get juiced up when that time comes. All right, don't misconstrue that. All right. um, yeah, no, Fire Keepers. I mean, it's $1,100 buy-in, 350-ish K up top usually. Our boy
Yeah.
Ku Vang, who we've had on the podcast, a good friend of ours, has won it last year. Um, why not us?
Why not us? Yeah, it's an exciting one. I know I've been there 3 times and I've had two like deep runs, but it
Yeah.
wasn't I didn't quite make it.
I think I've
And
gone 3 or 4 times and cashed 3 out of the 4 or 2 out of the 3, something like that.
yeah, you were definitely I remember last time we were both on the same table for a while on day two.
Oh yeah, that was a painful time because I remember yeah, I got 2 outed for like 3 million chip pot to make a deep run. I think
Yeah,
yeah, something like that. 2.5 million, something like
I
that.
remember that. Um
Yeah.
anyways, and then the following week we have the Fall Poker Classic main event right at Canterbury here.
Yeah.
And
Because of Firekeepers, I'll be missing that first week of the Fall Poker Classic, but that's okay.
yeah, and I think we'll have some predictions for the final table of that one,
Yeah,
just
maybe
like
we
we
can
did last
discuss
year.
that next week.
Yeah,
Let's
that
do
sounds
that.
good to me.
Yeah. So look forward to some FPC predictions. Again, guys, don't forget about the $50 giveaway.
Yeah.
What was your first
And
set? What was, you know what? Don't say it out loud,
don't we
actually.
won't say it again.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you listen to it, and honestly, if you've listened to it and you've made it this far without messaging Max, I think someone already beat you to it, probably.
I would guess that's probably accurate. I'm gonna wake up till just a flood of messages in the morning.
Yeah.
But first one I see, not the first one I see, the first one sent
The
to me.
earliest one, yeah.
Yeah, early bird gets the worm, people. I'll actually make a little post saying
Yeah.
that, so we'll get people in there early. But let's go ahead and wrap it up there. We'll be back next week with another episode 51 of the Suited Kings podcast. I hope that Wes, you're a Hollow Scream champion by that time,
Yeah. Thank
and
you.
if
Me
not,
too.
don't ever talk to me again.
Oh, easy. Well, win-win for me.
All right, guys. Hope you have a great night. I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up there, Wes. Hope you feel better, brother. I'll see you next week and take care.